Well, welcome everyone to another installment of City Jobs. Today we're on the water. As you all know, New Bedford has one of the most important ports in America. We're the #1 commercial fishing port in America as measured by dollars. We've been that way for a long time. We are the second biggest cargo port in Massachusetts. We're one of the top 50 yachting destinations in the United States according to Yachting Magazine. We have cruise ships. We have people who row. We have a lot of stuff going on the harbor. And to make sure that it's safe, we need and have a Harbor Development Commission that directs traffic and makes our port grow. And so today we're going to take a close look at what the HDC does. And you'll get a glimpse not only of the great work on our harbor by our fishermen and others, but also by the crews at the HDC who enable our port to be the success it is. And with me today to start it all off is our Port Director, Jeff Steeve. Jeff, come on over.
Morning, Mayor.
Good to see you, Jeff.
Yep.
So today, Jeff, we're going to take a glance at the HDC's activities and how it makes the port go and keeps everybody safe and puts us in a position to compete for business. So why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about, in general terms, about what the HDC does, what its mission is, and its major activities.
Our mission is to look at all the activities going on in the port: fishing, offshore wind, cruise ships, excursion vessels, and help them all operate better, more efficiently through working with all federal agencies, state agencies, really bring it all together and be their representative to help them conduct business better, more efficiently. And so we really look at it as a business enabler so that we can help them create jobs and help them improve their activities and their businesses. So that's really our job, from keeping our safety, security, cleanliness, construction, keeping the piers up, is helping the businesses that are here grow and expand and do better. That's how we basically look at our job.
Well, that's what it's all about. Now, there's a lot going on here. That's the ferry coming in, right?
That's the Martha's Vineyard Ferry. We're very glad to have them. 70,000 passengers a year to the vineyard, taking cars off those Cape bridges. Very important service. And not only is it for the visitors and the tourists, it's the people that work on the vineyard use the ferry.
So tell us a little bit about the facilities that the HDC manages, or at least has some role in overseeing.
We have 19 commercial properties that are leased out to businesses in the north and south terminal areas mostly. We manage Fisherman's Pier, Homer's, Leonard's, Steamship, and we also manage the ferry terminal for the state. So we have property management responsibilities in addition to promotion of business and developing businesses for the future, particularly offshore wind.
Now, and the parking lots as well, right? The Whale's Tooth parking lot and some of the parking areas along the waterfront as well. Those are your responsibility. The marina over at Pope's Island is something that you guys manage.
Correct. We have 198 slips at Pope's Island Marina, which is the center of recreational activity. We have about 450 moorings that we administer all through the harbor, including outside the hurricane barrier, in the central port, and even north of the Route 6 bridge.
Now tell us about a little bit about how the HDC responds to incidents out on the water, whether it's an oil spill or a collision or some other problem that's cropped up.
Well, we're very fortunate in Bedford. We have a very robust fire department marine unit and a port security marine unit.
Yeah.
So they're usually the 911 first responders. And then the HDC comes in right with them, right behind them, and from a management perspective. Because in any marine incident, you've got state, you've got federal actors. So we'll create a unified command and use every entity to the best, put everybody in the right spot to do the job, because it takes a team effort to respond to any maritime incident.
Tell the viewers a little bit about just the numbers. How many fishing vessels, how many recreation others, just the ballpark numbers?
Largest fishing port in the country. 350, 400 vessels coming and going at all times, whether they're visiting from New Jersey or further down south, or they're home ported here. By far, and put in comparison, there are 14 fishing vessels out of Boston. We have 350 to 400. We have a 198 slip marina and 350, 400 moorings. So this is a busy harbor. You will see more commercial vessels moving in the harbor today than you probably see in Boston Harbor. In Boston, you see commuter ferries,
yeah.
and every now and then you'll see a large deep draft ship. Here we have it all. We have construction going on now. We have our own ferry, fishing vessels coming and going, et cetera, et cetera. We have shipyards, vessels come in to go to the shipyard in Fairhaven. So it's really a robust, busy port.
This is really, it's no exaggeration that this is one of the busiest ports in America.
With 400 fishing vessels coming and going, absolutely. You can just sit out there and kind of watch them go through the barrier. I mean, it's really non-stop activity on the waterfront.
Well, we're going to take a look today at a number of things going on in the harbor. We're on Pier 3 right now. We have behind us the Wharfinger building, which is where your offices are. Is that right?
Yes, correct. We have our administrative offices here in my office. It's a great building. It's also the Waterfront Visitor Center, which we're very proud of. It's open on weekends seasonally, and so we welcome people to come in and have a drink of water, use the restroom, learn about the scallop industry back in the 40s and the 50s and how it's grown. We have displays in there provided by National Park Service, so we're double-hatted. It's our offices and a visitor center.
So the visitor center is a mini museum, right? It's got it has exhibits that relate to the fishing industry.
Yes, it is. Yeah. The visitor center is the old auction house for the industry, and so there are displays in there that show how things were done in the past, which are very much a physical auction with chalkboards, and people in there bidding. Now it's all done at the Whaling City auction more electronically, much more efficiently. Yeah. But you can come in here and see how we used to do it. Yeah. And it's really a fascinating glimpse on the past of the Bedford fisheries.
Well, so today we're going to hit a few places. State Pier, we're going to look at some of the fishing vessels. We're going to get out in the water a little bit and see some things. We lucked out today, Jeff. The weather is spectacular. This is about as nice of an October day as I can remember. But this is a great opportunity for residents of the city to check out all the great things that we have going on in the harbor, how successful it is, and hopefully how successful it can be in the future in fishing and offshore wind, in cargo, in recreation and other. And so it's an exciting time to be here in New Bedford, a successful port that's becoming more successful. So let's take a look, shall we?
Let's go see the Assistant Harbormaster.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
So I'm here now with Assistant Harbormaster Tommy Vital. Tommy, you're a busy man. Tell us what you're so busy about. What do you do? Walk us through, just in very general terms, how you do it. What do you do for the HDC, and maybe just starting when you wake up in the morning to go home at night.
My day starts at 3:30 in the morning, and I'm here by 5. At 5:30, I have to put down every boat on every pier south of the Fairhaven Bridge in every position. It gives us an accurate account of who's in port and who isn't. This data is also used by Whaling City Auction, so they can understand better who's out and who's in and what they can expect for product to come into the harbor. After that's done,
so let me just stop you right there. So the importance of having an accurate count is to help the auction function, right?
Yes.
And are there safety reasons too to do it, and are business reasons also that are served by your counting up the vessels?
Well, it gives us a better idea of, of who's in and what room we have to offer. Sometimes we have to spread out the wealth and put some on State Pier.
Yep.
But basically we can generally handle, unless it's a storm, the overload, you know.
So if you have, it lets you figure out where the space is, and HDC charges fees to boats that dock on its properties, and so you know who has to pay and who doesn't have to pay,
Absolutely.
right?
And that's also done on this sheet.
Yep.
When the vessel goes on the sheet, we know if it's a in-town vessel or an out-of-town vessel, and they're charged accordingly. Some are just day boats, and they're charged a day boat price, and some are full dockage, and they're charged full dockage price.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Now what, so how long in the morning does that take you?
If there's a fair amount of vessels in the morning, that'll take a good hour and a half of your day just to start off.
Yeah.
Then from there on, things just melt in. I can't tell you exactly what I'm going to do in any given day. Every day's a new adventure, so we just take it.
Well, you're not just counting fishing vessels. You're counting everything that's in, and everything south of the bridge.
Yes.
Yeah. So how long? So tell us, how long have you been doing it?
I've been doing this. I've been in the port for 52 years, but since I retired, my wife was in a nursing home and since passed away. I've been doing this here 9 years. I'll be going on my 10th.
And what were you doing before you became assistant harbor master?
I was a full-time lobsterman, and I would go dragging in the winter with the family on one of the family boats.
So 52 years, so you're talking early 60s when you started out.
I started in 1959.
1959. So, in what ways in general has the harbor changed?
Oh, we just had very basic things back then. We didn't have snow removal on the docks, that's for sure. We used to walk in 4-foot snow, pulling one another along. Today, the HDC does the snow removal on the docks. We are responsible for that. You can see that we're getting electricity for the boats. We got the little tug. Tristan asked me what was my wish list, and I wanted a little tug. We got a little tug, which assists some of the boats that inside can't get out. There's 3 or 4 boats on the outside. We pull them out, let them slide out, we push back in. So it's all in this service, far more than what we had in 1959.
Yeah. So it's fair to say that the HDC has come to be an organization that not only makes sure that everybody's safe on the water, but really assists business, really helps business go.
Absolutely.
Electricity, snow plowing, helping vessels move, getting them other support.
Yes. And I always tell them, anything you need, you call me. And if it's within my power.
And everybody knows you anyway.
Yes.
Everybody's got your number.
Yeah, I don't even put a badge on because they know who I am. So it just goes with the turf.
All right, and we're here on Pier 3. Pier 3 is has stayed kind of the same over the years, right?
This was 2 piers years ago. There was 2 in here, and then they filled that all in and they made one big pier.
So that's why sometimes people call the other side Pier 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it.
Yes.
All right, and nowadays we have a lot of boats in port at any given time because of regulations. Guys don't go out for as long as they used to over the course of the year.
Yes.
And so how have you been able to adjust to that?
Sometimes it's difficult. We have to start finding a way of putting them somewhere, the boats that just don't fish. They've kind of given up but still have a boat. We have to address that issue. It's pretty hard to address. We just
right about now, how many vessels are tied up here or anywhere in the harbor that are no longer fishing?
I would say we're in the 25, 30 range right now. Yeah. And that's going to be climbing. I think this year you're going to see more.
And a lot of them are the draggers, the groundfish boats.
The groundfish boats. The scallops are still holding their own and doing all right.
Doing well. Yeah. Good. All right. So we're gonna talk to a few folks now on the pier, and there's a lot going on. I think we'll get a shot of all the activity that goes on over the course of a day in the pier. But this is, as we all know, a very, very busy port, and never a dull moment, right, Tommy?
Never.
Good. All right. Well, let's take a look.
Right.
All right, so we are standing on the Scallop Julie G here at Pier 3 with its owner, Bill Gallant, who is a three-generation fisherman, whose family has been in the fishing business for at least three or four generations here in New Bedford. Bill owns 3 scallopers. He's still doing well. His sons are in the business. And just want to talk to you for a moment, Bill, about your experience on the waterfront and how things have changed over the years. You started out in fishing when?
1954.
And your father had been a fisherman
All his life.
as well. So back in the 50s, things were a lot different. Boats weren't all steel. They were
All wooden boats.
All wooden boats back then.
Yep.
Tell us what the port looked like then, and tell us how it's changed.
Well, this port is altogether different. Everything is like brand new here. Before you had a big wooden dock. You had a big opening in the middle of this dock, all the way up in the middle. You had no highway over here. You had nothing. It was just strictly a fishing dock, fishing business. That's it. There was a couple of fishers' house on the dock, and you took out a couple of them. Other than that, ever since they changed it, it's a big difference now.
And without Route 18 there, a lot of fishing families live within walking distance of the port.
Yeah, we used to be able to walk all the way up the street without that highway there. Now you have to worry about getting run over.
Not so much now. We finished that road. It looks a lot better though. All right,
It does look good, too.
All right,
Yeah, it does look
all right. Tell us a little bit about how long guys went out to sea, how large the crews were, and so forth.
Well, when I first started, you were anywhere from 11 to 13 men. Now the government has stepped in. You're only allowed to go 7 men on a boat, and you're gone anywhere from 10 to 13 days fishing, staying out.
So it's shorter trips now.
No, it's longer trips.
Longer trips.
Before we was only gone 7, 8 days. Now it's anywhere from 10 to 13.
10 to 13. And boats don't go out as long over the course of the year.
No,
right?
You only have so many days to fish.
Yeah.
You only got so many days. The government keeps cutting it down. In fact, they're going to cut down again next year. We got less days.
And that's for scallopers.
Right.
And so the scallop fleet is what dominates the port now. But that wasn't always the case.
No. When I was fishing, we was lucky if we went out and made $100. These guys go out now and they're making, if they get a decent trip, they're making anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 a trip.
And those are for deckhands too.
Deckhands, and the guys are on deck.
On the scallopers now. But scalloping wasn't the dominant catch that it is today, right? Things have changed.
Yeah. It's changed a lot now. You have more restrictions with the government, but everything is a lot better today than it was years ago. You don't take any chances. You come in because you only have so many days to fish out of the year, like I say, and you don't want to go out there in the wintertime and drift around and lose days fishing time.
Tell us, let's just talk for a moment about the Harbor Development Commission and how it supports the fishing industry here in New Bedford. What has been some of the changes you've seen and some of the approaches you've seen from the HCC that have made the fishing industry stronger?
Well, they take care of the docks now. The docks are taken care of good, and you have watchmen at night. Before you didn't have none of that stuff, and if you need something, they'll help you out. If you got a problem, you tell them you got a problem, and they'll help you out. And just like now, they put power on a dock, electricity, so you don't have to run a generator at night all the time now. You can plug in if you need stuff. They've helped the fishermen out a lot.
And boats are more secure now, right? The security and that makes a difference as well.
Oh, yeah.
And what do you see? How do you see the future in the port?
The port is great. I have no problems with this port. Like I say, I grew up on this side. I like this side better than I did the other side of the river. But the people here seem to want to help one another out a lot more. The fishermen help one another out. They don't. Even if they don't like the person, if something's wrong and he needs a hand, they help them out.
Yeah.
They're like that. Fishermen are like that. And the people on the dock, if you need any help, you just go up the street, talk to them, and they'll help you out too.
Yeah, that's good. Well, Thanks for taking the time to meet with us.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah, good talking to you. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I think we got a lot of good stuff going on in the harbor. And
it's great. This harbor is altogether different than it was years ago. It's a lot nicer. It's a lot cleaner. Everything is cleaned up. There's nobody pumps anything overboard like they did years ago. And they come take it off for you, like sea fuel. You get 50-gallon drum, like over here.
Yeah.
You pump your oil in it, they'll take it off for you, and all that stuff.
That's good.
Everything willing to help one another.
That's good. Well, thanks, Bill. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah,
Nice
good talking to you.
you.
Good seeing you.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Jeff, we're right here out in front of the State Pier, and everybody in the city has seen these big warehouses on the State Pier, but we're on the back side of them now, on the water side. Tell us what goes on over here and what uses these warehouses are put to.
These are cargo warehouses. The State Pier is designed to bring in a break bulk cargo ship, and our most recent and our most profitable cargo are clementines. Clementine ships come in annually. This year we're expecting about 15 ships coming from Morocco, starting here in about late October. And what you see behind you are some repairs being made so we can safely bring those ships to the pier and offload the cargo.
Tell us what break bulk cargo is.
Break bulk is cargo in packages. If you follow maritime shipping up to about the 60s, all cargo is handled by what they call stick ships. They have these cranes, and the cranes take out packages, and it's very longshoreman intensive and very costly. Well, starting in the late 60s, containers came along, revolutionized the industry. But there are certain cargoes that are still appropriate for break bulk, and we have a foothold on that business here in New Bedford. We think that is a growing business for us. Whatever break bulk cargo is still moving, we want to handle it, and we want it to be ours. And then that, you'll see if you come down here in October, November, those cranes working, putting it on the dock, the longshoremen moving it through the warehouses, trucks on the other side taking it out. So it's really built for that type of cargo.
And so those ships, those fruit ships, are going to start coming in the fall.
End of the month, end of October, these repairs will be done. What they're doing here is they're replacing the piles that support the pier and giving it enough strength to withstand the pressure of the ship against the pier.
Yeah. And so, again, this is an example of how the city and the state together are supporting business. Each one of these ships represents, correct me if I'm wrong, about $250,000 to the local economy when they come in, right?
That's correct. Longshoremen are good paying jobs, 2-3 day jobs for each ship, very high rate of pay, full day's worth of work. It's very important to the longshore industry because we want to keep a robust and strong longshore industry here because the Marine Commerce Terminal is right around the corner, and we want that workforce to be ready.
So this barge right here is doing some of the repairs right now.
Yep, you can see the piles. Those piles will be driven in through the top. They cut a hole in the concrete and drive those piles right in to replace the old piles.
And then they cover it back over.
And they cover back over the concrete. What's interesting here is one reason we're having to replace piles is because the harbor is getting cleaner. If you come out here in the wintertime, you can see down 6 feet, 8 feet. But that invites the marine borers and actually deteriorates the piles faster. So we're getting cleaner, but it requires more maintenance of our particularly wood pilings.
How many vessels do we expect this winter?
I think we're looking at about 15 vessels being brought in by Maritime International. They're our main break bulk cargo stevedore in the port. They've been very aggressively marketing, and they actually have a new business, a new company bringing in fruit ships this year.
Yeah, what we're looking at here is what people have traditionally called the South Terminal, which is where a lot of seafood, if not most of it, is offloaded here in the harbor. And there are a set of facilities, Tishon, the Whaling City Seafood Display Auction, a couple of the other fish houses that are all aligned right here. Tell us about the activity that goes on.
Well, the fishing vessels come in, they make a quick left turn, and they want to get that fish off, scallops, fish off the boat as fast as they can. That's what the fish houses are here for. They're open at they can be open 24 hours a day. They get in, a great number of them go to the Whaling City Seafood Auction. It's the most productive auction on the East Coast. They get in there, they have samples of their fish or their scallops, and then they get the best price. It's an electronic auction. You don't get to see what you may think with people yelling, screaming, waving their hands, but it's an electronic auction, and it's about efficiency. It's about to get that product sold as fast as possible. Then they can offload at any of the various fish houses along the way, depending on the buyer, and then they do whatever processing they're doing and move it out in various directions, depending on species.
Now we have how many fish houses do we have here? They're not all fish houses in the sense that they're all cutting, but some of them cut fish, right? Some of them process fish. Many of these places are places where a lot of offloading is done. The display auction is one example of that, right?
Yeah, each industry, each business has sort of their niche and what they do best.
Yeah.
So they may do the cutting and the processing, or they may just package it and move it out somewhere else. It's a very dynamic industry. There's lots of ways fish is sold on the market. There's lots of different processing options. But one way or another, they're all here in New Bedford.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed our day down at the waterfront. You got to see how the HTC supports industry, particularly the fishing industry, through help on the water with moving vessels around, to electrifying our ports, to making sure that safety enhancements are added to our port facilities. You saw how the HTC manages lots of facilities around the harborfront, including parking lots, piers, and boat ramps, and many more. But what I hope you saw most of all is that as successful as our port has been, it's going to have even better days ahead. That there's tremendous growth, not only in offshore wind, cargo, and recreation, and cruise ships, but our fishing industry here in New Bedford is stable compared to a lot of other ports. And what we hope to do in the long run is to make it even more successful despite the ever-tightening set of government regulations that our fishing industry has to deal with. Most of all, our harbor is why New Bedford exists in the first place, and our harbor is going to be a big part of why our city succeeds in the long run. And the HDC is a big part of making it go, making it safe, and making it productive and competitive. So come down sometime. You know, we have a waterfront now that is much more accessible than it's been in generations with the completion of the Route 18 project. There are other landside projects that are going to be happening in the next couple of years. It's a great time to bring the family down, check out what's going on, because it's an interesting place and like none other in America.
When you earn your GED diploma, the barriers in your life fall. Take the first step and get free GED information in your area at 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or yourged.org. Earn your GED diploma and begin your brighter future.